Okay, so today we've got a brand new video from Mr. Ballen, and the tagline of this video is you can't feed the trolls, but you can hunt them. Whatever does he mean? Let's check it out. Okay, as per usual, I say it every single week. Let's see what Mr. Ballen does to the like button.
Today's story is about a group of internet gamers who played together for years.
Okay.
But one day, in their online world, the line between reality and fantasy suddenly blurred, and nobody could tell what was real and what was fake.
Oh dear.
Until it was too late. But before we get into that story,
that's crazy,
if you're a
isn't
fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So if that's of interest to you, please adjust the like button's power seats in their car to a very uncomfortable position, and then rip out the fuse. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Okay, let's get into today's story.
Let's go. Striking a Discord. Hey, we have a Discord. Links in the description if anyone wants to join it.
At 3:30 p.m. on July 27th, 2019, a 22-year-old college student named Nicole logged onto her gaming computer in her bedroom in North Carolina.
Right.
Nicole had spent the morning and the early part of the afternoon studying, but now she could finally kick back and relax and play her favorite video game.
Right.
An online multiplayer combat game called Perfect World, where people battled each other as characters inspired by Chinese mythology. Perfect World was a pretty niche game, so not a whole lot of people played it or even knew about it. But Nicole loved it, and she played it basically every day for the past few years, was totally hooked on it. And in playing it, she had met about a dozen other people from all over the world who also were obsessed with this game. And together, they had formed a virtual community, and they used a messaging app called Discord to communicate with each other outside of the game.
Don't forget to subscribe to our Discord. The link's in the description. Little bit of a plug there.
So, on this particular day, after Nicole loaded up Perfect World, she also opened up her Discord chat, and she saw already that several of her friends were online, and they were all talking on the general chat inside of their server.
Right.
And so Nicole began perusing the messages, and she saw the general theme of the messages being passed was about one of the other users on their server, somebody who went by the username Menhaz. So as far as everyone knew on this Discord server, Menhaz, they didn't know his real name, was a college student, and he was basically known to be a huge troll, which meant he said and did really offensive things, in particular on this Discord server, just to get people's reactions. Because of his trolling behavior, he had actually been previously kicked out of the server and also kicked out of the game Perfect World, like the game they're all connected on this Discord server through.
Well, I've had loads of trolls on the channel since doing music reactions on YouTube, and well, nothing's come from the horror community yet. But I've had quite a lot of trolls over on the music channel. And one of them that got really, really personal with me online, on a live stream. If you know, you know.
He had been booted from both of those platforms in the past. But in previous occasions when that happened, Menhaz would plead his case and say he's not going to do it anymore, he's going to behave. And eventually, the moderators would just let him back in. And so currently, Menhaz was back on the Discord.
This dude's got a look of Mike Shinoda, hasn't he? Like Mike Shinoda from Wish, you know, Linkin Park. It's okay.
The moderators would just let him back in. And so currently, Menhaz was back on the Discord server, and he was back to his trolling ways. But as Nicole scanned through the general chat and went back and actually saw what Menhaz had been saying that day, that basically had stirred up everybody else on the server to say, look, he's back to his trolling ways, when she went back and actually saw what Menhaz was saying, Nicole couldn't help but feel like today's trolling just felt different. Menhaz was talking about this apparently brilliant 4-step plan he had that was going to completely revolutionize his life and basically set him up for big success in his life going forward. However, this plan he was talking about, this 4-step plan, was not only totally outrageous, but just seemed impossible. Like what he was saying he was going to do just didn't seem possible even by Menhaz's standards. Like,
Okay.
within his trolling standards, this was a bridge too far. Like, this isn't even trolling. This is just weird, what you're proposing. And so,
Okay.
basically, the chatter on the Discord server this day that Nicole was seeing was how nobody believed this 4-step plan was a real thing. Like, this is just classic Menhaz trolling. And Nicole, too,
Right.
she also did not believe this plan was serious. She did not think for a second Menhaz was going to do this. And so she just kind of rolled her eyes, ignored Menhaz, minimized the Discord server, and just enjoyed playing the game, Perfect
Right.
World. And after
Okay.
a while, after a couple of battles that she won and a couple of battles that she lost in this game, she paused for a second and noticed there was a whole bunch of new notifications on their Discord server. And so because Nicole was already taking a break from the game, she opened up the Discord server to see what was going on.
Okay.
And right away she saw the main topic of discussion was once again Menhaz and
Four-step
his
plan.
4-step plan, but specifically Menhaz had just sent a picture through the Discord server that apparently represented completing step 1 of this 4-step plan. He basically said, look, I did it. I've done 1. I'm on to step 2 now. And everybody's looking at this picture thinking, wait a minute. He's actually doing this? This can't be real. And Nicole, when she looked at—
What is it? What is it? Mr. Ballen's got me hooked. I want to know what this is.
Wait a minute. He's actually doing this? This can't be real. And Nicole, when she looked at this picture, she too thought, like, no way, this is not possible. He did not do this. And in fact, her first thought was, okay, maybe this image was, created by AI or something, or, maybe he pulled this image off a website somewhere and is pretending it's authentic, but it can't possibly be something he actually took a picture of. He couldn't have done this. And so pretty quickly, Nicole, despite seeing this image, she agreed with the consensus that Menhaz is still just trolling us.
Oh, okay.
This picture is not proof that he's really doing this 4-step plan. Okay. And so Nicole went back to playing Perfect World.
I want to know what the 4-step plan is. He's building a house in Minecraft.
There's not proof that he's really doing this 4-step plan. And so Nicole went back to playing Perfect World, and about an hour later, she noticed there were all sorts of new notifications on her Discord server. And so once again, she stopped her game, she opened up the Discord server, and once again, the entire chat was dominated about Menhaz, because Menhaz had sent a second picture, apparently representing
Step
him
2.
completing the second step of his big 4-step plan.
Okay.
And once again, everyone's saying there's no way, he's trolling us, this can't be real. And Nicole, she looked at the image itself, and she too thought this has got to be trolling. But now, she wasn't just filled with pure disbelief. She wasn't able to just completely discard what was happening here. Because part of her was thinking, like, how is Menhaz getting these hyper-specific images that really are tethered to this exact plan he's laid out? Like, how does he have these images? Where are they coming from? Now, this was back—
This is what happens when you cry wolf, or if you're known for trolling. You troll and you troll and you troll and you troll. When you say you're going to do something serious, no one believes you. It's the same as like lying and lying and lying and lying. When you're actually telling the truth, you're just like, nah, you're lying. So I think he's doing something that's going to end in something bad, because obviously it's a Mr. Ballen video. But no one believes him because he's been such a troll for such a long time.
Getting these hyper-specific images that really are tethered to this exact plan he's laid out. Like,
Okay.
how does he have these images? Where are they coming from? Now, this was back in 2019, and certainly AI technology existed,
Yeah.
but not the way it does now, where, the average user can literally, in seconds, create hyper-specific images using
Absolutely,
AI.
yeah.
In 2019, that really wasn't available to most people. And so really, the only way Menhaz could potentially have these images, at least in Nicole's mind, was he had to have pulled them off some website somewhere and basically pretended they were images that he took. And so Nicole decided she was actually going to take the 2 images he had sent and reverse image search them to try to figure out where they came from.
Google.
Find the website where he's pulling them from, because clearly these pictures are not authentic. There's no way Menhaz actually took these photos. But when Nicole reverse image searched both images, nothing came up. Now, Nicole thought, okay, that does seem to suggest these are authentic pictures he really did take, which maybe means he's actually doing this plan, even though that seemed totally preposterous. Or she thought maybe, these images have been pulled from such an obscure website somewhere that I don't have access to, finding them in a reverse image search, that maybe that's what it is. And so at this point, Nicole told herself, you know what, there's got to be a reasonable explanation for this, but I'll tell you this, it can't be that Menhaz is actually following through on this plan. It's not possible.
Okay.
And so once again, she minimized the Discord server and got back into the game. But pretty quickly, Nicole just stopped playing the game because her mind was totally fixated on whatever was going on with Menhaz. And so she opened up the Discord server again, and she saw still everybody in the chat was talking about Menhaz and these 2 pictures he had sent. And basically the server was divided. About half the members believed this really was just Menhaz trolling, and the other half was starting to think that, hey guys, this might be real. He might actually be carrying out this 4-step plan. Those pictures might be real. And if that's the case, we have a huge problem. Because this plan, if he actually carries it out, is so completely illegal. He can't do this. This is not okay. And so the faction of members on the Discord server that were starting to sense that this 4-step plan of Menhaz's might actually be real began to talk internally, and they said, look, like, we can't just sit here and do nothing if Menhaz is actually doing this. We have to stop him. This is not okay. And so
what the hell is it? What the hell is it? How can you come with a 4-step plan to a load of people you play games with, and then tell them your 4-step plan, and everyone says it's stupid. But then when it feels like he's going to do it, they're all like, oh my God, we're going to stop him. What the hell is it?
So in fact, one of these members actually contacted their local police and told them, hey, there's this guy on my Discord server, his username is Menhaz, I don't have his actual name, but he's doing something that could be very bad, and you need to look into it. And so the dispatcher said, okay, well, where does Menhaz live? And the person who called was like, well, I don't actually know. In fact, I really don't know much about him other than the fact that he goes by Menhaz and he sent these crazy pictures that
track his
IP
real
or not, I don't know. And so eventually the dispatcher just said, look, like, I get it that you're concerned, but we have nothing to go on here. And remember, this is the internet. People make stuff up all the time. And so pretty quickly after that, the police officer just hung up, and that was that.
But you would, wouldn't you? Because the coppers can't do anything about him if they don't know where he is. Mind you, could they not get someone to like track his IP? I should tell you where he is. His internet provider sort of thing. Okay, let's find out.
So at this point, Nicole and the other members of the Discord server who were starting to suspect that what Menhaz was doing could be real, at this point, they felt really alone. I mean, the local police was not taking this seriously, which did make sense. I mean, they had nothing to go on.
Absolutely.
But as a result, it was like nobody was doing anything about what Menhaz was claiming. And Nicole and the other members who, again, were beginning to sense this could be real, they felt terrible about just sitting here doing nothing. And so Nicole and a few other members of the Discord server decided to team up digitally and actually investigate Menhaz themselves. To figure out like who this guy is and really what's he up to. And so Nicole and this new investigative group started by combing through all the chat logs in their Discord server to see if Menhaz at any point had either intentionally or unintentionally dropped hints about his real name and his location. And eventually they came across a message where Menhaz actually said his real first name was Menhaz. That wasn't just his username, that was his real name. And that was great because Menhaz was a pretty unique name.
Absolutely.
And so Nicole and the group thought, okay, well, if we find...
It's not like David, is it? Stephen. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. You can do a certain amount of checks online. Like I say, you can pull up someone's IP if they're trolling you and stuff like that. And you can do traces. Even to the normal person can do that now. So, there's always ways. It depends how computer savvy these people are.
Because Menhaz was a pretty unique name. And so Nicole and the group thought, okay, well, if we find where in the world that name is somewhat common, maybe that will give us a rough idea of where to look for Menhaz in the world. They also knew that Menhaz was a college student, or at least he claimed to be. Now, he never actually said where he went to college, but he would often, in the Discord server, tell people when he was going to be on the server and when he was going to be off the server, like for classes and for studying and that kind of thing. He would say, okay, hey, I'll be on at 6 p.m. tonight, or I'll be off at 9, I'll be back on at 8. He would give these specific times, and he would always use Eastern Standard Time when he did that. And so a natural assumption that Nicole and her
It's on
group
the east
made was,
side.
okay, very likely Menhaz lives in the Eastern time zone. And that time zone included
New
the
York.
entire east coast of the United States, Eastern and Central Canada, and also some countries in South and Central America. But while that was helpful, it still created too broad of an area in the world for this
Absolutely.
group to realistically look for Menhaz. It was nearly impossible to actually figure out where he was. But they now had a sense of where he could be, and they thought, okay, well, why don't we ask somebody else in the Discord server if they can try to track Menhaz's IP address? An IP address.
See? I told you. Track his IP.
Discord server if they can try to track Menhaz's IP address. An IP
Give him his proper
address can be
address.
used to find the approximate geographical location of a computer. And sure enough, someone in the server said they could do that, and within a few minutes, they had tracked Menhaz's computer to Toronto, Canada. However,
Okay.
right at the same time they were figuring this out, Menhaz sent a third
That's
picture
picture
across
3.
the Discord server, a picture that showcased him completing step 3 of this 4-step plan, allegedly. And for Nicole and many other members of this Discord server, this third picture really represented a big shift, because now it was getting terrifying. Because look, it seems
What's
pretty
he
likely at this
doing?
point that Menhaz is actually doing this. This is real. How could he possibly have these hyper-specific photos that are perfectly synced with this 4-step plan he had come up with? This feels real.
What the hell?
And so Nicole, she actually asked the person who had traced his IP address to Toronto.
I hope Mr. Ballen shows us these pictures when we find out what this is. He's stringing us along. There's still 6 minutes left.
She said, hey, should we call the Toronto police and tell them what's going on here? You know, maybe they can go find him and stop him before he completes this
address.
plan. I mean, he's apparently completed 3 steps. There's only 1 step left. We have to stop him here. But the person who had tracked his IP address to Toronto said, look, what are the police going to do? There's 6 million people that live in Toronto. And all we have is that maybe his computer is in Toronto and maybe these pictures are real. And also, by the way, it's pretty easy to mask your IP address. You can use something called a VPN or virtual private network that when you track someone's IP address that has one of those working, it will make it seem like their address is, for example, in Toronto. Or
Those hackers who took over my computer that time were in Minsk, but where they took over my computer was in America.
Or Chicago or New York or Dallas or anywhere in the world, when in reality, their computer is somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
And so the police are not going to launch a manhunt based on an IP address. It's not 100% accurate. And so basically, Nicole realized that even though they saw they are on the precipice, potentially, of Menhaz committing some horrible crime, and they can't do anything about it because they don't really have any information about Menhaz.
What is it?
And so at this point, everybody on the Discord server was basically begging Menhaz to come clean. Tell us these photos are fake. Tell us this plan of yours is really just you trolling.
But see, when you get a troll who lives for the attention, real pictures are not. The fact that all these are going, tell me, he's like, I'm getting the attention. It's feeding his ego. You know what I mean? He should have just fucking said, oh, shut up, Menhaz, and left him.
Tell us these photos are fake. Tell us this plan of yours is really just you trolling. But Menhaz didn't do that. He doubled down and said, oh no, these are all real. And in fact, I'm going to complete step 4 of this plan and complete the whole process in 30 minutes. And after that, all Nicole and the other members of the Discord server could do was just try to convince Menhaz not to do this. Don't follow through with this. Don't complete the plan. You gotta stop. It's not worth it. But Menhaz refused and said, I'm doing this no matter what.
God damn.
And sure enough, 30 minutes later, Menhaz would send one final picture, the 4th picture, showcasing that his 4-step plan was now complete. At this point, someone from the Discord server did call the Toronto police. The following day...
Oh, I want to know! What is it?
At this point, someone from the Discord server did call the Toronto police. The following day, at about 3:30 p.m., police officers arrived outside of Menhaz's home, which it would turn out was located in a small town just north of Toronto.
Right.
The IP address had been correct. By this point, it had now been about 24 hours since Menhaz had sent the very first picture of his 4-step plan. Police knocked on the front door, having no idea what to expect here. They had seen the images Menhaz had sent on the Discord server, but at this point, until they went inside, they had no idea if they were dealing with
killed his
terrible
family.
crime or a terrible joke. When the door opened, Menhaz himself was standing in the doorway. He had a totally neutral, very calm expression on his face. He was very gracious. He welcomed the police inside. And when they stepped inside, they asked him, what's going on here? And all Menhaz said was, "You'll see." So the police walked further into the home and eventually made their way upstairs. And when they got up there, they just froze. Because it would turn out, Menhaz was not trolling. Those pictures were not fake. He really had carried out that 4-step plan. It would turn out, for the past 4 years, Menhaz had been living a double life. To his friends and family, he was a college student studying engineering, and he was on a path to great success.
Right.
When in reality, he dropped out of college in his first year and just pretended to go to school every day, when in reality, he would just go to a local mall and hang out there. And then in the evenings, when school was over and he would come back home, he would just immerse himself in video games, specifically that Perfect World game. That's what he did. He just went to the mall and played video games and lied to his friends and family. But July 27th, 2019, the day Menhaz put his 4-step plan into action, was literally the last day he could maintain this ruse. Because the next day, July 28th, 2019, was the day Menhaz was scheduled to graduate from his college.
Right.
And so his friends and family were all expecting to be there and to see this amazing ceremony.
Oh, so he killed him
and so
so
to
didn't
deal
find
with
out.
the fact that his real life and his fake life were about to collide, Menhaz came up with his 4-step plan. And he literally told the members of the Discord server about his big plan, but nobody believed him because he was always trolling people. It just seemed like, oh, this is made up, another one of Menhaz's lies. But he was not lying. It was all true. Those pictures that he sent across were absolutely authentic. He took those pictures, and they did represent completing each step in the plan. The first picture was of his mother, the second picture was of his grandmother, the third picture was of his sister, and the fourth picture was of his father. And in each picture, those people were dead, because Menhaz had spent the day methodically killing his entire family to prevent them finding out about his lie.
Seriously?
Methodically killing his entire family to prevent them finding out about his lie. He hit them over the head with a crowbar and then slit their throats and took a picture, posted it to Discord. By the time someone from Discord finally got in touch with the Toronto police, it was too late. Menhaz had obliterated his entire family. Menhaz ultimately pleaded guilty to 4 counts of murder and was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years.
I mean, that's an extreme, isn't it, to cover up a lie? What was so bad about saying you're not going to, like, college? Oh, do you know what, guys? 3 years I've had you off. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Just couldn't be bothered going to school. That's a you problem. You can't go and start killing your fucking family because of it. It's a him problem. What an absolute psychopath. Couldn't you just left the country? I don't know, right? Come on. What a crazy ass story that was. I mean, the extremities that people go to cover up a lie is ridiculous. It's not even a bad lie. You know what? If he'd killed somebody else and he was covering that lie up, and certain people knew that he'd killed someone, they were gonna tell the cops on him for that, then yeah, I'd understand why he'd killed him. But to say he's not been to school, that's absolutely crazy. Well, I can see why Mr. Ballen didn't show us the pictures now if he's killed all the people in the house. Absolute fruitcake. Anyway, what did you guys think of this reaction? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to check out Mr. Ballen's original video, and I'll see you next time.